The Boogeyman is a film directed by Rob Savage. It is about a family reeling after the death of the mother. Will Harper is a therapist who's good at helping other people with their feelings, but not with his own. And he's not very good at being supportive with his daughters. Sadie, who's a high schooler, and Sawyer, who's younger. And basically a mysterious man shows up and talks about a dark spirit, latched on to his family, and now he has passed on this dark creature onto this new family. However, no one believes the little girl who faces it first, and they have to convince their father before it's too late. So I didn't know this movie was directed by Rob Savage, actually. I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, hey, I somewhat enjoyed Dashcam. I really like Host. Host is pretty solid for that budget. Rob Savage is known for doing very cheap films, horror films. Both of them were found footage, so this is his debut on the normal movie. The movie has some great cinematography. There's some really interesting shots. There's like a shot from the other side of the locker. There's a shot like behind some drawings, I think, or something, like it rolled up, and there's a cool shot in a bathroom or washroom at the school. So the look of the film's nice. The movie is a little bit on the generic side, though. When I say that, I mean if you've seen Lights Out or Come Play, The Babadook, Smile, it's very similar to those sort of movies where there's a supernatural entity and you add a twist to it, like grief. So The Boogeyman is based off of a short story by Stephen King, and in this version it's a sort of parasite-like creature that latches on to grief, and it likes to eat grief, but it doesn't, it'll kill you after, but it wants to tenderize you by making you wallow in pity and torture you for a bit before going in for the kill. So the acting's really great. I like Chris Messina as the figurehead father. He can play vulnerable, and he's got great range too, because the last movie I saw him in was Air, where he plays like an arrogant sports athlete agent, and he was like just yelling in that whole movie. But this one, he's like the tender father who's a little bit vulnerable and won't admit anything, and he's closed off, and I really like that performance. Same goes for the two girls. They do a great job. The movie has some thrills, but it's not too amazing. It's a rather tame horror film, so if you're someone who's not sure if you want to see it, it's an accessible horror film in the sense that it's not too scary, but it does have a couple thrills. I did get this A Quiet Place vibe, and I totally forgot that the film is partly written by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who did write A Quiet Place. So the monster does have a similar design, where it's like a creepy, sort of not crawling, but it's got like giant limbs like this. It's like a spider-like creature. And the movie does a great job of not showing the creature too much at the beginning of the film and not till later. It doesn't do anything new with this concept of a grief monster, because we've seen that in The Babadook, but the movie's okay, and it's entertaining. On another note, the movie was marred a little bit for me because I saw it, the movie came out a while ago, like I believe in the beginning of June, and it's like already 3 weeks at the end of June. So the film is leaving theaters next week. So the movie at my theater was only playing one show, and it was like almost sold out, which I thought would be great because it's like packed, but the theater experience is not as great as it used to be. A lot of people don't value the experience of seeing a movie on the big screen. They take it for granted because there's like this whole row of teenagers that kept like laughing and talking throughout the film. There was this couple next to me that he kept kissing her neck, and it was like really loud and weird, wet sounding kiss every like minutes, and he was on his phone, and she was whispering the whole film. There was someone's phone went off like 3 times. It just really, shook me out of the atmosphere of the film. So I still enjoyed the film, even though it's a little generic, but The Boogeyman is solid in its own right, because at least everything's trying to fire off on all cylinders. Even if it's not a new classic, it's still entertaining. So I give The Boogeyman a 6.5 out of 10.